Welcome to The Right Journey, an interactive, intimate, and introspective journey into screenwriting, novel writing, and playwriting that empowers you to take ownership of your creative journey and expression. We upload new episodes weekly, so please like and subscribe for more content from The WritingStudio. It is time to explore the premise of your idea. In this episode, we will explore your story's premise. Your story's core, conflict, and direction give viewers a clear sense of what journey they're about to enter and why it matters. Let's dive in. In writing, concept and premise are close companions, but they serve very different functions. A concept is the idea space of your story. The narrative seed sparks curiosity, but does not tell us what actually happens. A premise is the story's promise. It tells us who the story follows, what they want, what stands in their way, and what the narrative will explore. A good premise sets your narrative in motion, implies the emotional and moral terrain you will explore. In All About Eve, an aging Broadway star suffers from the hidden menace of a self-effacing but secretly ruthless and ambitious young actress. This sparks the central conflict of the protagonist. A great actress whose physical beauty and age are threatened by getting older. She has two options: to accept aging with whatever amorous and career consequences that suggests, or to struggle for relationships and roles beyond natural reason. This struggle and its outcomes form the basis of the screenplay for All About Eve and reveals the theme of the story. The central dilemma in Inside Moves questions what happens if a young man kills himself and fails. It reveals the central conflict of the protagonist. Life or death is the basis of the story and reveals the theme of the story. High-tension moral dilemmas force characters into impossible choices. A surgeon discovers the only compatible organ donor for her dying son is a convicted murderer who refuses to consent. Collision of opposites. Two forces that cannot coexist are locked into the same space. A climate activist falls in love with the CEO of a mining conglomerate. Pressure cooker situations. A contained environment plus rising stakes equals inevitable combustion. During a 12-hour blackout, a family discovers their missing daughter has been hiding in the house. Secrets that cannot stay buried. The premise hinges on revelation and consequence. A woman discovers her late husband's unpublished novel is a confession to an unsolved crime. Desire meets obstacle. A character wants something intensely, and the world refuses to cooperate. A retired detective with dementia tries to solve one last case before his memory disappears. Premises built on irony. The situation contradicts itself in a way that generates story. The world's most famous motivational speaker loses the ability to speak. Premises with mythic weight. These feel archetypal, elemental, and emotionally resonant. A child born without a shadow is believed to be a bad omen until the shadows begin disappearing from everyone else. What makes these premises strong? They contain inherent conflict, imply character transformation, generate questions that must be answered, promise movement, not stasis, carry emotional or moral charge. A strong premise gives you direction, tells you what the story is fundamentally trying to prove or explore. Cohesion keeps characters, scenes, and subplots aligned with the central dramatic question. Momentum implies stakes and transformation. Clarity helps you avoid wandering, overcomplicating, or diluting the narrative. Without a premise, your story can feel episodic or unfocused. With a premise, even a sprawling narrative has a spine. Theme is the meaning your story expresses. Premise is the situation that allows that meaning to emerge. It generates the conditions in which the theme can be revealed. If your premise deals with a grieving father hunting the creature that killed his son, your theme will reveal how obsession destroys what remains of a man's humanity. The premise is a creative marketing tool. It's designed to hook. If your premise shows how a timid hobbit must carry a corrupting ring into enemy territory to destroy it, the logline will show a humble hobbit embarking on a perilous quest to destroy a powerful ring before it falls into evil hands. Plot is what happens. Premise is why it happens. Plot is the sequence of events. Premise is the dramatic proposition that makes those events inevitable. A compelling premise usually contains a protagonist with a clear need or flaw. A character without a need or internal struggle cannot transform. A destabilizing event will disrupt the character's world. A goal or direction will indicate what the character must do or confront. A premise without conflict is not a premise, it's a situation. Your premise must imply what is at risk if the character fails. Your premise is not static, it suggests movement, pressure, and change. Weak premises tend to be too vague. A man goes on a journey, too static. A woman lives alone in a cabin, too internal. A person struggles with loneliness, too plot-heavy without emotional stakes. A detective solves a case. Your premise must contain pressure. It must force the protagonist into action and change. Once you have a premise, it becomes your story's gravitational center. Every major decision, plot turn, character choice, structural beat should serve it. The premise tells you what kind of protagonist the story requires. If the premise is about confronting fear, the protagonist must begin fearful. The premise suggests the arc of your story. If the premise is about redemption, the structure must take the character through guilt, loss, and the possibility of renewal. Your premise can imply tone. A story about a man trapped in a time loop suggests comedy, existential drama, or both. Theme emerges naturally when the premise is strong. You don't have to force it. A premise is a contract you sign with the reader or viewer that says, this is the journey you're about to take. This is the pressure you will apply. This is the transformation you will explore. If your story violates that promise without intention, it feels unsatisfying. If it fulfills or subverts it with purpose, it feels inevitable. A practical way to shape your premise is to answer these questions. Who is the protagonist at the start? What disrupts their world? What do they want now? What stands in their way? What is at stake? How might they change? Then compress those answers into a single charged sentence. A premise is not a cage, it's a compass. It gives you direction while leaving room for discovery. It keeps your story honest. It keeps you honest. It ensures that every scene, every choice, every beat is in conversation with your story's core. When a premise is strong, the story feels inevitable. When a premise is weak, the story feels arbitrary. A premise is your story's heartbeat. Everything else is the body built around it. In our next video, you'll explore the right theme, the invisible force that gives your narrative its emotional resonance, its moral weight, and its sense of purpose. Like and subscribe for more content from The Writing Studio.